Good afternoon, Ari, Maria, and Josiah. Today is Tuesday, 4 July 2017. She has a teacher from her video that she bought. She will explain about violin for you, okay? If someone wants to buy the violin, you can find her from this DVD.
Hello, welcome to Play Violin Today. My name is Kaitlin Hahn, and in this series of lessons, I'll show you the basics of playing the violin, from holding the instrument to playing folk tunes and simple classical pieces with dynamics and articulation. This video goes hand in hand with the Play Violin Today Level 1 book and CD. Take your time and practice each lesson until it's mastered before you move on to the next. If you do this, you'll be making beautiful music on the violin. Let's get started.
Mommy, take care of the video.
Before we begin learning how to play the violin, it's important to know the parts of the instrument. The top of the violin is this fancy part called the scroll. Beneath that is the peg box and the pegs. These are used to tune the instrument by tightening or loosening the strings. Next, there is the nut, where the strings cross over into the peg box. Then we have the neck and the fingerboard. This is where your left-hand fingers will press the strings to make different pitches. This whole part is called body. This is what projects the sound of the instrument, and it does that through these holes called the F-holes. This is the bridge, which holds the strings before they reach the fine tuners, here, which are used for making small adjustments in tuning the violin. The fine tuners are attached to the tailpiece, which is attached to the violin by a loop around the end button. This is the chin rest, where you put your jaw or chin when you're playing. There's a part inside the instrument that is very important. If you look into the right F hole, you'll see the sound post. This transfers the vibrations of the strings from the front to the back of the instrument and helps keep the instrument strong and stable. The bridge and sound posts are not glued onto the instrument. They're held on by tension of the strings, so it's very important that you handle your violin gently and put it back in your case when you're not playing it. Next we have the bow. At the top we have the tip, then the stick. Underneath that is the hair. This is the part that's drawn across the strings to make the sounds. This is the winding or grip. And then we have this part called the frog, which looks nothing like a frog, but that's what it's called. Lastly, we have the adjusting screw. This is what tightens or loosens the tension of the hair. You will need rosin for the bow. Rosin is a block of tree sap, and you put it on the hair to give the bow some traction on the strings. Without it, you would get very little sound out of the instrument. I also use a shoulder rest, which helps keep the instrument steady on my shoulder and makes holding the violin much more comfortable. You can also use a soft sponge or a cloth for this purpose. Now that you know the parts of the instrument, you're ready to learn how to hold it.
Okay, Mommy will hold and violin and bow. On the violin and bow.
With your left hand, pick the violin up by the neck with the strings facing away from you. Notice how I'm holding the neck close to the body so I don't bump the pegs and make the instrument go out of tune. Turn the violin so the end button comes toward you. Look straight ahead and line the end button up with your left ear and set the violin on your shoulder. Rest your jaw against the chin rest. You should be supporting the instrument with your shoulder and chin or jaw. Eventually, you'll be able to do this. This is how I support my instrument. My left hand is simply there to play the notes. Now slide your hand toward the scroll and stop at about 1.5 inches from the nut. Keep your wrist straight, not extended like this, or flat against the neck like this. There should be a straight line from your elbow to your fingers. Also, your elbow should point straight at the floor and not in front or behind you. Now round your fingers so the tips of them can touch the strings. Keep your thumb straight and relaxed. Pick up your instrument with me as I demonstrate one more time. Hold the instrument by the neck, strings facing away from you. Turn the violin, pointing the end button to your ear. Gently set the violin on your shoulder and then rest your jaw on the chin rest. Slide your hand back to the scroll, stopping at 1.5 inches before the nut. Before we learn to hold the bow, we need to get it ready for playing. First, when the bow is in the case, the hair should be loose, so we'll need to tighten it. Find the adjusting screw and turn it clockwise until the hair is straight, but the stick is bending slightly towards the hair. If the stick is completely straight and parallel with the hair, then the bow is too tight. Try not to over-tighten it. Right now mine is just right. Once you tighten the bow, you'll need to put some rosin on. Hold the rosin in your left hand and slide the hair over the rosin like this. Just go up and down a few times on the hair, unless you have a brand new bow. You'll need a bit more the first time if you rosin a new bow. Now you're ready to learn the correct bow hold. For the first few times, hold your bow like this in your left hand, but avoid touching the hair. You don't want to get the oil from your skin on it. Eventually, you'll be able to pick the bow up and hold it properly without the help of your left hand. But for now, use your left hand for support. Bend your right thumb slightly and touch the tip of your thumb to the stick, on the spot where the frog meets the stick, or between the frog and the grip. Now, let your middle and ring fingers curve over the stick, with your middle finger almost lined up with your thumb. Allow the pads of your fingers to touch the frog like this. The first knuckle of your index finger should rest on top of the stick, in the middle of the grip or the winding, and the tip of your pinky will rest on the top of the stick near the screw. Now lean your hand slightly into your index finger like this, and see if you can let go with your left hand. Having a proper bow hold takes time and patience. You'll need to practice this every day and make sure you do it correctly each time. It's much easier to learn it right the first time than to have to go back and correct mistakes later. So make proper bow hold a part of your daily practice right away. Let's set our bow hold again. Bend your thumb slightly and touch the tip of it to the stick. Let your middle finger and ring finger wrap over the stick and touch the frog, but lining your middle finger up almost with the tip of your thumb. Place your index finger over the grip or winding. Touch your pinky to the stick close to the screw, and let go with your left hand. Great job!